There we go.
There we go.
And intro music.
Coming to you every week from no place in particular, this is the Forever Road podcast featuring Bosco. He's a music lover, a historian, and a connoisseur of the obscure. Find us on some great platforms like iHeart and Spotify, and even more as we keep growing. Now, pointed down that forever road are your hosts. Here is Mr. Worldwide, Will Craig, and Bosco.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Hello, brothers and sisters. That ain't the first time I
forgot to not hit loop.
God, man, not in front of the guests.
I know. I'm screwing it up.
That's why he doesn't have a girlfriend.
That's why we don't have people over.
I'm hurting on the inside.
Everybody, it's a special Father's Day episode. We are joined by Mr. Eric Tansey from Failure to Stop, somebody that I followed since he started his 2021, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
I think I'm an OG Wolfpack member, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You and Will Craig, both OGs.
Oh, yeah. Day one homie.
Definitely got day one homie status.
But I wanted to do something lighthearted and fun for Father's Day. And I was sitting there, we've kicked around the idea a couple of times, like who to bring on, I was like, dude, you're the most dad dude that I know. Aside from me, I got the current world title at 9 kids.
How many kids does Will Craig have?
That
0.
I know of, 0.
His women fear him.
I'm hurt.
I could make a comment, but I'm not going to.
I don't know what it is about Will Craig. Maybe it's just his name, but even when I'm not podcasting, I'm making fun of Will Craig, in my own house.
I deserve to be made fun of.
Like one time I was at Food Line and I saw a retarded looking watermelon and I was like, man, it looks like Will Craig.
Shoot,
he wasn't even here. There's like nobody even around to hear my insult. I just said it. You know what I mean?
They don't even have a Food Line up there.
Oh, here. Speaking of kids, come here and say hi. Here.
What's up?
Hey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, that's Will Craig. You signed you autographed a skateboard deck for him once.
Wait, which one was it?
The Mario Brothers Yoga Hair deck.
Oh, right. Oh man, bro, that was a while.
Yeah.
Just over a year ago, yeah.
Yeah. How you doing?
Part 2 over here.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
It's like a long-haired version of Tansey. Check that out.
That's what a lot of people say.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that.
You sound like him too. You got the same almost same cadence when you talk. That's awesome. My oldest son, Jay, he's a smaller version of me. And he's 27.
Jeez.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
dude. Like
I'm pro. I'm gonna be a pro skater. That's what I want to be. That's what I think I'm gonna be if I keep working.
I think you can hit it.
You got something special planned for your pops this weekend?
Yeah, we do.
But it's a secret, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. Good deal.
Probably
Good
shouldn't
deal.
be even mentioning it to him, but
It's like,
yeah.
Did you tell him tell him before you go, tell him what you did this week?
Oh, this week, the wakeboarding. Yeah, we went to this girl's house who's a world champion wakeboarder. Her name's Stuart Ski. We got to see her wakeboard, and we got to try and wakeboard, and we also got to like jump off this 2-story deck into the water, and it was like really fun. We had a really good time.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Dude,
That is really cool.
Probably one of their best episodes of Rad Kids called yet. It was insane. Like when when they were like, yeah, we're gonna get you guys a shoot with this world champion wakeboarder. And they told us she was like 15, and I was like, oh, okay, cool, and I don't really know much about wakeboarding. And I guess I just didn't process world champion, because when this girl got out there and started, like, she ran, like, that first run she did was like 20 minutes long.
Oh, jeez.
And like back flips, cartwheel flips, twisty flips. She did a 720, she did a 540. She did, I mean, dude, just all these like crazy things, and never fell. And just, I was like, dude, I would have gotten up for like 2 minutes and my arms would have been shot. Like I'd have no muscles left. And there's no way I could do any jumps. And she was. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll be honest with you. The terms of skateboarding is lost on me. But I do appreciate what I've seen, especially from your kid there.
Oh, yeah, they're pretty good.
Just seeing all the other videos of just like even extreme sports back in the day, just all the stuff that they do on bikes and skateboards and all that. And I'm like, yep, that's pretty awesome stuff. I don't know what you call half of it, but
well, you know what's cool about those sports is that they're all individual based sports, and they're all like from your own creativity. And so it's like each one of those athletes has a battle within to accomplish each trick. And I think that's fascinating to me. Because these guys don't do tricks that they know how to do. It's like Duke doesn't go to the skate park and just do all the tricks that he knows how to do. He goes to the skate park and he figures out what's one thing that I probably can't do right now. And then let me try that for the next hour and a half. And it starts off with like being afraid. So like they skateboard up to the ledge or the stair set, and then they stop, and then they do it again and they jump off of it, or they do it and they run down the stairs, because they're scared. And so like the first 5 or 6 tries is just overcoming that fear of actually trying it. And then they kind of like start progressing into it where they try it. And then it gets to the phase where like, I'm going to commit to it. And then it's just slam after slam after slam. And then like, it's crazy. And each one of those athletes on every level is going through that same battle. And so it's really hard to look at these sports now for me and say like who's better or who's worse, because even the guy that's trying to do a basic trick down a smaller stair set, I'm still like, man, he's going through the same mental, physical battle as my kid would go through going down the 10 stair. So how do you judge one over the other?
Right. Well, I developed that mentality back when I started going. I was going heavy to the gym. I mean, and I would set myself personal goals.
I think mom's waiting for me.
Go put the dog on the side.
Down this side.
Yes,
I think he's
See you, dude.
So through Bad Dog, y'all have heard me mention it before. Bad Dog Health and Fitness. This is before Bad Dog became what it is now. Brother Derek would, we'd hit these personal goals, and mentality became, because I have body damage, and I'm not saying woe is me. I'm just telling you what it is. So I started working on myself. I'm tired of feeling tired. I'm tired of feeling kind of, letting these limits myself. So I started pushing myself more and more at the gym. What I found out that I was slinging a lot of weight, instead of doing so I set myself goals, and the mentality became, and maybe Duke, he can kind of adapt this into his and it helped me a lot. I ain't done that yet. Yeah. Not that I can't do that. I hadn't done that yet. So it became like even I'm a diesel mechanic, so working on trucks and things like that. Hey man, have you done this yet? Have you worked on a Thermo King? No, I ain't done that yet. So it changed my mentality to not limit myself, where I'm like, you know what, I had, so that's the thing now. Now there are certain things that I can't do, but I'll try to figure out a way, or I'll let somebody else handle it. But that's, what him going through the tricks and trying and kept trying and kept trying, that's what developed that mentality. That's what made me think of that. Ain't done that yet.
Yeah. It's cool, man. I really like the extreme sports just because I like watching each one of these kids, and like even the, you know, because it's funny, my 3 sons are usually, you know, some of the youngest people at these events, but they hang out with all the older crowd, and they're hanging out with like the older pros. And, you know, it's like they did a podcast with Ryan Sheckler, and Ryan Sheckler was like, yo, I've got to get you guys to Woodward for a week. And so he paid for them to go to a Camp Woodward for a week. And, you know, they've been around a lot of big celebrity athletes, Bam Margera, Tony Hawk, Bucky Lassick, some of the other big names, PLG. And so they don't really hang around like kids their age, but the kids that they do hang around with, all like 15, 16-year-olds, like I almost see those as like my kids too. Like I had the same anxiety watching their 15-year-old friends compete as I do watching my own kids compete. And only because none of these kids are really competing against each other. They're just competing against themselves. I don't think that like at the contest, you know, that they're really concerned with the guy next to them. I mean, there are a few out there, but I think the majority of the athletes in extreme sports really don't care about the guy next to them and whether they beat them or they don't beat them. Like all they care about is completing what they came there to do, like what routine that they put together, what tricks that they put together, and how hyped they can get the crowd. And it's so much fun, man. It's like, I don't know. I don't have a kid that plays soccer or baseball, so I can't really compare it to that. But like, I know most of the parents I know have baseball kids or soccer kids. And I don't know. So I just feel, I feel bad, but I feel lucky at the same time. I'm like, man, at least I don't have to go to the baseball park and watch kids play baseball all day. Like I get it. Like it's fun for them, but like, I don't know, man, it's pretty fucking fun watching kids launch 13 feet up into the air.
Yeah.
That's
and flip around. I don't know, dude. Like, maybe I shouldn't think that way, but it's just, I don't know, man. I got extremely blessed, I guess. I got extremely lucky to have that my kids found a passion in not only skateboarding, but wakeboarding and surfing and bull riding. And it's like, man, today we were supposed to go rally car racing, and they were supposed to be getting in somebody else's race car, and they were going to take them around the track. But I guess the car broke down, or the car's not racing or something. So they canceled that for today. But
yeah, I know that pain.
Fulkinator in the chat says that soccer is fun. You shut your mouth. I was the girls' varsity soccer announcer when I was in high school. Folk around and find out. The girls' varsity soccer announcer. I've watched my share of soccer, and it's not, especially women's soccer. It's so lame. Men's soccer, I can get around men's soccer. They just didn't flop so much.
I used to play most of my, whatchamacallit, being a kid.
Yeah.
And just at me being kind of a fat kid, I can't run. And they were like, oh, you're playing midfield, which is running across the whole field, the whole game. So it's like,
they didn't put you in as goalie?
No. The one time I did play as a goalie, my team was really good. So I literally just sat there in just like the goalie area, just laid on or sat on the ground, and just they played the game and won.
Yeah.
And I did nothing the whole game.
I mean, Fulkinator says it's better than the WNBA. I'm not saying that soccer is better or worse. What I'm saying is, if I had to choose to watch kids like throw their dirt bikes like 100 feet up into the air, or sit and watch kids kick a soccer ball, I'm going with watching dirt bikes sling through the air. Yep. Like, if I got to go watch a skate contest, like I'm picking the skate contest to go watch, at least as a parent. Like maybe soccer's more fun to play, or like baseball's more fun to play. But as a parent, like, I don't know, man, it's pretty fucking fun going to these X Games style events because it's super entertaining to me. Yeah. And all the girls wear like thongs and shit. I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
No, I hope they are adult girls.
What's that?
Yeah.
They're adults.
Yeah. There's no like soccer moms fully dressed at the X Games events. It's like a bunch of women walking around in string bikinis down the beach.
That's a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bonus if you're not married.
Yes, like me.
You just have to walk behind your wife and wear those sunglasses that they can't see your eyes. You know what I mean? And you put your hand on the small of her back so you know when she's going to turn around to catch you. I just think I've never done any of that. I've never done any of that, boys.
That sounds like experience.
Just joking.
Or position yourself at the bar on the beach just so just people watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, people watching is fun, but like the crazy thing is like my wife usually people watches harder than I do. So
people watching is a very fun sport.
Yeah, I like to do it at the airport, man. Like getting like with those rocking chairs. You know, they have like random rocking chairs throughout the airport, man, sitting in one of those and just eye fucking everybody that walks by.
Sitting on the front porch of Cracker Barrel, just sitting there. Look at this fat ass walking in here, gonna get
yeah.
on the way he's gonna order.
Oh yeah. You better bring 2 baskets of cornbread out for that motherfucker. You already know. like fried steak.
I know they're gonna make you sit by them.
That's the other thing is like my kids love Cracker Barrel. Mm-hmm. So after every one of these trips, and you guys know because you've listened to us long enough, but like I'm in a hotel almost every weekend. And so we traveled so much. I mean, but this week, it wasn't this weekend. It was like the whole week. So where we went wakeboarding was like 2.5 hours away. It's up near Virginia. So, but you know, their favorite kind of thing to do is hit Cracker Barrel on the way home of any of these big trips. And so pretty much, you know, 2 or 3 times a month where we sit down at Cracker Barrel. So I'm really familiar with the Cracker Barrel menu. And I usually know exactly what I'm going to get like days in advance before I get there. So
that's what me and my wife will break loose and go get breakfast at Cracker Barrel. We don't have.
Dude, don't sleep on their dinner, bro. Their dinner's just as good. I used to just be a Cracker Barrel breakfast guy until I got into this whole extreme sports travel shit. And now I'm like, dude, it's literally like the chicken and dumplings. Oh, dude, all winter long I crush those chicken and dumplings. The fried steak, super good. You know, what else do I get there? Quite a bit. The chicken with the bacon over top and like the bourbon barbecue glaze or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's super good with the garlic mashed potatoes, the gravy and the yeah, man. And they serve cornbread. Oh man, it's really good. So
well, down here in Georgia, you can, I don't know how it is up there, but down here you can kind of get that kind of food almost everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know,
I went to a place
Cracker
down
Barrel
there.
does.
I was at Airborne School in Fort Benning, and I had my motorcycle down there, and we had a weekend pass, and I got on my motorcycle and was just cruising, you know, just getting out there, and I found a place out there called, I think it was called the Black Kettle or something like that. It was basically attached to a gas station.
That's in Columbus.
Yeah, it was. I don't know where it was. It would be hard to find, but it was just like a gas station that had a side restaurant. It was called the Black Kettle, and I had fried okra, meatloaf, and mashed potatoes and gravy. And it literally was, everything was exactly like, I felt like my mom was in the kitchen cooking. Like it was definitely a small batch, everything. Yeah, it was really good, but it was a cool place in Georgia, but it was called like the Black Kettle or something like that.
The Black Kettle. I see up in Macon, and I know everybody, Macon's a rough town. It really is. But it has its spots. And there's that's attached, that's right there in downtown Macon. It's called the H&H Restaurant, and it's soul food. We actually talked about them on the Mother's Day episode. The Mama Louise and Mama Hill opened that place, H&H, and they actually ended up feeding the Allman Brothers band when they came in. So there's a big Allman Brothers fan attraction.
The another Allman's Brother connection. We have to have one an episode.
Is that where they wrote the song like Soul Shine?
Yeah, in Macon, yeah.
So where like for Father's Day, because I forgot, I would not have known it was Father's Day until you just said something. I would not have known this weekend was Father's Day at all. When you said, can you come on for a Father's Day episode? I thought like you were pre-recording, but like now I'm starting to pick up that Father's Day is this weekend. But what is your?
He's just starting to wake up, everybody.
There's so much going, dude. My schedule. If I could show you my calendar, you would shit your pants. I hate. On that note, I cannot stand. I guess, and I probably deserve it, but I really do get offended when people fuck with me about scheduling and calling me disorganized, and it bothers me because it's like, one, let me show you my calendar, and then let me show you the process of having to reschedule things. And in my line of work and the things that I do, things get rescheduled all the time. And so when I have to reschedule one thing, I have to reschedule like 8 things. And you miss one thing and you've missed one whole meeting, or sometimes you might go to one meeting early and it throws off your whole day. But like a lot of people will tell me, not a lot, but like sometimes people are like, man, you need to get more organized. And I'm like, you know what, bitch, you go ahead and take my planner and you see if you can manage it better, you fucking dick. Like it is crazy. I had the last 3 weeks I was working with these book editors, and the final book editor I had, they gave us 2 weeks for that particular edit. I think that was the 6th or 7th edit of the book. And the way this guy worked was basically he would text and he'd be like, hey, are you available in the next 45 minutes for the next 2 hours? And I can be like, well, I can be available in the next hour, and then I can give you 1 hour. But like right now I'm, wherever. And then he would be like, all right, great. And then I'd be flying home on the phone, like trying to change plans. Like, hey, I know I have a meeting with you on the phone, but like now I got a meeting with this book editor. Let me call you after the book editor. Oh shit. After the book editor's done, I got to be at my distillery. And then it's like, they're like snowballs. And then this person's like, man, I can't believe you stood me up in the meeting. And I'm like, dude, honest to God, I didn't mean to. So the book editor guy, because he was priority at the time, he would hit me up at like 10 o'clock in the morning for a couple hours. And then he'd be like, are you available at like from 4 to 5:30? And then are you available from 9 to 11? Oh, and then we'd have to figure out times in these windows every single day for 10 days straight while we did 26 chapters of the book. And so that was really bad because Tyler from Anti-Hero Podcast, man, like for whatever reason, it all just kept falling in our phone times with him. And he was getting mad at me. The poker group people are getting mad at me because I'm trying to fix my emails and stuff. And, and I really try not to cancel any of my kids' plans. So it's just it's really, really hard to manage a schedule like that. But for Father's Day, go ahead.
I was going to say, even when I've told other people, not through here, we talk about failure to stop more than a few times. We brought you up in past episodes and things like that, especially having Will on here who actually knows what I'm talking about. Or sorry, Mr. Worldwide. Anyway, so I'll explain that here in a minute. But telling other people about one morning I'm out of here and then failure to stop. And then I'm like, they kind of look at me. I'm like, well, it's I try to explain it from my view. I'm like, dude, it's different episodes every night of the week. And then I'm sitting here thinking, and Eric handles all of that, plus Instill, plus the kids, plus I'm sure having, you got to spend time with your lady and then trying to handle the book, so I get it. Me personally, I'm like, with all our kids, and then now we have grandbabies, and my oldest granddaughter just turned a year last month or 2 months ago. And then my oldest son has a son now, but trying to make sure to reach out to everybody every day, and then I'm working on trucks at the shop. I have trucks at College Park near Atlanta. having to deal with 4 different locations, all the trucks, all the services, all the things, and then come home and try to spend time with Mrs. Bosco. And they actually called me, hey man, the semi is going to be down there today. Can you, there's an air leak on it. Do you mind looking at it? I'm like, dude, between this time and this time, I'm going to be busy. If it's after that and the semi's down there, fine, I'll run down there. I don't mind knocking them over the head for some overtime, but dude, I got things around here I got to do.
Yeah, dude. We were up till 2 a.m. editing the new Rad Kids Club. And, we were going over the edits, and then we were going over the thumbnails, and then we got down a thumbnail rabbit hole and ended up making like 8 different thumbnails. And, it ended up being like 2 a.m. and we were like, dude, let's just hit it in the morning. So I had to get up this morning before this podcast and start knocking down more thumbnails to try to dial it in and get it perfect. But it's fun, and at the end of the day, I'm just like, dude, it's so much easier still than being a cop or being a firefighter or being a nurse or like shit's probably easier than being a diesel mechanic. I mean, all my mechanic buddies, like, I don't know, like they just don't seem very stressed out. They always just seem like, I don't know. Like I have 2 friends that they're mechanics for a living and they just seem so chill. Like, I'll fix it when I can get to it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know. IT people like always want to blow their brains. Like, I guess you don't see mechanics killing themselves very often, do you?
No, not really. I mean, one part is
problem solvers, probably.
Yeah, that's it. We have to figure out what's wrong with this truck.
Yeah. But it's like always like the IT nerds or something like that, that are always like whacking themselves, killing themselves, But it's like, it's never like, oh, my friend, he's a mechanic. He killed himself yesterday. You never hear that.
No.
Yeah, I have kind of similar stuff, kind of like a mechanic, just because I work in sewer industry. I deal with shit every day, literally. Yeah. So it's like, this ain't that.
Do you watch
bad.
Parks and Rec, by the way?
Not really.
Oh, they have the sewage department.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You could be one of the sewage department guys.
I mean, I go and essentially play with shit all day, and it's so much crap I have to deal with. But it's like at the end of the day, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
it's a problem. I can deal with it.
It's just turds.
I was turds.
8 years. I
basically worked in the sewage department in Southeast Raleigh.
Yeah,
cleaning up turds.
I did too. Georgia Department of Corrections, which I was going. 8
you
years
worked in the toilet
bowl, and I walked away from it to like my buddy. He was like, "Hey," and he's still a very good close buddy of mine to this day. Him and his wife, and he was like, "Hey man, you're a pretty good mechanic," and I've always been a mechanic. Like even when I was in corrections, I still worked on cars and stuff. And I was just fed up with it, man. And I was like, you know what? My home life sucks. I can't afford to do anything. I can't do this anymore. So I literally walked in there, turned in I had my trash bag full of uniforms, turned in my badge. Here you go. Y'all have a good one. I'm out.
Yep.
And now I'm able to buy a house, have my project truck out back, do this. I'm less stressed, which I'm busy all the time, but I'm less stressed.
Yeah. I love how Kiefer says, I'll get to it when I get to it. Like, dude, that is that what like every mechanic has tattooed? I'll get to it when I get to it. Like,
pretty much, yeah. They come out there and go, hey man, when's this truck gonna be ready?
I'll get to it when I get to it.
The time when you see the roll up door, because I keep it closed, my shop's air conditioned. You see whenever the roll-up door rolls up and the truck's backed out, that's when it's done.
That's when it's done. Dude, I get impatient waiting for my fucking oil change, but I'll work doing the oil change. Like I'll sit there like hammering out emails and stuff. But no, man, I'm excited for Father's Day. What's your guys' like? Look, when you like, where did you take your dad to? Did you take your dad to a restaurant, or that was another thing. Like I was talking to my wife about.
I was going to ask you the same thing. Go
ahead, ask me.
What did you do?
It's your show. Sorry, I forget. I'm so used to podcasting on my own podcast that I just I feel like it's my responsibility to come up with questions. I need to just like be like, oh, wait a minute. That's not my responsibility today.
Calm down, dude. Ease back. It's before I get started on this, I want to bring up this very special thing. Tansey, do you happen to know any veterans?
A few.
You yourself being one. That's why I asked that question. You know, some veterans that are battling with PTSD, anxiety, stress, you know, things like that.
Of course.
There is and everybody's heard me talk about this before. It's 501c3 non-for-profit organization, Operation Tackle Box. They are near and dear to my heart. My brother Turtle, y'all have heard me talk about him. He's been in the chats before. He knows them. He's been on fishing expeditions with them. He knows the guys up there. And until I get a cease and desist, I will always do this ad for them. It's not an ad read. Do you have a link for it, Will?
Give me a second. That's what I'm doing right now.
I don't think anybody's ever going to send you a cease and desist to like stop promoting our business.
Especially when we don't pay you. But no, they don't pay me for this. That's not a gripe. I'm proud to do it because I believe in our
That's a cool logo.
brothers and sisters. Yeah. Go in there, order, get you a hat, decals, some t-shirts, super sweet merch. As I've heard before, I don't know where I heard that before at, but Healing Through Reeling, combat veterans helping combat veterans. They are based out of Sonoy, Georgia, same spot that the Walking Dead, I almost said Living Dead. Walking Dead, that's Macon. It was filmed at. It's pronounced Sonoy. I was corrected rudely by somebody up there. I said, yeah, we're up here in Sonoya. And she goes, you don't pronounce the A. I was like, well, why the hell is it on the sign?
Yeah.
But they're up there near Sonoy, Georgia. And they do some really good work for some awesome individuals that put their lives on the line to keep our freedom.
That's cool. That's cool, dude. Healing. I'm gonna start a nonprofit, but it's gonna be called Healing Through Dealing, and we deal drugs, like heavy amounts of drugs.
Right.
You think you're stressed out from your PTSD? Wait until you live with the stress of having hundreds of kilos in your basement. You know, you don't know stress. No,
look here, man.
Awesome, man.
You got hundreds of kilos in your basement, and there's you got hundreds of kilos of Colombian Bam Bam in your basement, and the lawmen are on their way.
Yeah. You don't know stress. You got to fight the fear. No, that's cool, man. Healing through reeling. That's really cool. It's like kind of like Weedified that does the jujitsu stuff. And that's why all that stuff is really important, man, for veterans. But I think they probably should do more stuff for cops too. I think cops are, pretty ate up with PTSD and stuff like that. So anybody out there wants to start a nonprofit to get cops fishing or doing jujitsu, go for it.
I have thought about that back and forth so many times because like my mom's paramedic.
That's actually paramedics need it more than anything. God.
And that's actually what got me into the first responder law enforcement thing because it was later on in life. Mom, she just came home. She's like, I'm gonna go to EMT school. I was like, dang. Okay, cool. And I would stay up for all hours reading this book, reading her the questions.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I began to learn. And so I went through EMT school. I was certified EMT, because I didn't re-up, but I was certified EMT. But I realized I had more of a law enforcement heart. So I went to corrections, waiting on a sheriff's department or something like that to pick me up and end up staying for 8 years. So whatever. But I'm grateful. My daddy was very avid. I know a lot of folks don't say daddy, but very avid.
Daddy.
I still have that sticker, man. Skate Daddy Tansey.
I never got one, man. That fucking company's blew ass. So
my Guns Up Giddy Up shirt from him is crooked and sideways.
Dude, that was the biggest ripoff. And the funny thing is that I don't know, like the Hodge twins were working with them too, and we were working with them. And it's like and Officer Daniels, you remember Daniels?
Yeah.
Like they got all of us at the same exact time, and fucked all of us.
So, how did you grow up, man? How did you talk about your dad a little bit? Talk about,
Oh wow,
we actually don't ever hear much about you talking about. And no, you mentioned your mom a few times.
Yeah, my mom. Well, my mom and my dad. Oh man, I guess I don't know how long they've been married, but since 1981, still going, still married. I don't know. I don't. My dad's a different character. He's proud of me sometimes, pretty disappointed in me most times. I don't know. Me and my dad, we've always had like a very love-hate relationship. I think we just love to hate each other, but we can tolerate each other. Like now that we're older, I think it's getting better. But really you couldn't get us together for more than a couple of hours without us, fighting. I mean, even like yesterday, he, sent a real negative long text message about my kids doing more action sports, that, he doesn't think that they should be doing it as much as they do it and that it's dangerous and blah, blah, blah. But, growing up, my dad just never, my dad was very blue collar, retired from the postal service, and his dad never gave him an opportunity to do anything except work. And so, my dad tried to break that trend with me. So he let me play baseball. He let me do some fun things growing up, but he never could really break away that life was about work and it was about being blue collar. And, college wasn't really on the table, but like when I was like 14, it was like, you're getting a job. The summer I was 13, I was walking to a construction site and cleaning up scrap nails and everything like that, because, my dad would really just kind of make you miserable at home if you weren't working on something. So at my house growing up, you couldn't just sit and watch TV. If dad caught you sitting around, he'd find you something to do. It'd be taking out the trash. It would be pulling weeds, mowing the yard. And so by the time I got to high school and I started playing football, he got really excited about football. But I wanted to be on the high school surf team, and it was really hard for me to do both. And when he saw me start leaning into surfing more, and I had surfed my whole life, but when I started like trying to be a competitive surfer, that's when our relationship really took a turn for the hardest part, because he wasn't going to tolerate that. And if I was going to the beach or if I was going surfing, it was no, you've got to do this. And it's like, well, man, you could have told me that yesterday. Well, you should have known. You should be able to look at the yard and tell that it needs mowed. And it's like, there's just every excuse under the sun for me not to do whatever I wanted to do was the thing. And so I spent most of my teen years trying to hide from my dad, because I wanted to hide from work. But I had to have a job, and then I had to give him all my money. It was like, he bought me this piece of shit car for $500 that I felt like at the time I paid for forever. It's like, I felt like I gave him $150 a month for like 5 years for that $500 car,
There's a gearhead in me. I'm like, what kind of car was it?
It was a 77 Plymouth Valari station wagon with a straight six.
Slant six. Yes.
And
my sister had one of those.
And but yeah, dude, it was, I moved out when I was 17. Because I had to get away from him. My mom helped me co-sign on an apartment. That was it, man. So, but I mean, like when I joined the military, my dad was mad at me. When I tried out for special forces, like if I was having a hard time and I call him, the answer was always to quit, like give it up. You don't need to be doing that anyway. You can't raise a family and be special forces. When I wanted to be a podcaster, man, you don't need to be on, but that's not stable enough as a job. You don't need to be a podcaster. You don't need to leave the police department. You don't need to work in the Southeast District of the police department. That's too dangerous. You're never going to get promoted. It was always about getting promoted and retirement. Like that's my dad's language. Like, what are you doing to retire? And what are you doing to, what are you doing to get promoted? And what are you doing towards retirement? And so
securing your future.
And so like, even now, like having conversations with my dad, it's difficult. Like we talk I don't know, every other day. We talk a lot, but not very much. You know, it's just like, hey, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing this. Because the minute I bring up stuff, like, I don't know, some of these guys in the chats, one more and I'm out of here. I'm like, my dad's very negative. So negative that when he owned his own business, his employees on the opposite side of his truck made a sticker that said, powered by optimism. And they ran it down the side of the truck because he's so negative that like powered by optimism was funny. I mean, just the most negative person you've ever met, you know? So, I mean, it is what it is. I love him. But definitely one of those stories where it's like, I was never good enough for him. And still to this day, I'm just like, I've had to come to terms with like, I'm 40 years old and he fucking like, he's embarrassed to talk about me in front of his friends. Or he tries to like he won't bring up that I'm a podcaster. He'll never tell any of his friends, like in Savannah, like we'll go down there to meet him. He'll never be like, yeah, here's my son. He's a podcaster. Like you'll never hear him say it.
Well, you got to figure like that's a different, I guess that's a different generational mentality. He doesn't understand what podcasting is. So he's like, here's my kid. He's a podcaster.
No,
you know, it just kind of gives that side eyes like, yeah, Pop, what's up? What are you doing today? Nothing? Yeah, okay. But I ain't trying to trash talk your Pops, but I'm just saying.
No, it's fine. Actually, it was funny because like when I was building the distillery, Nitrogen's in the chat and he says, what does my dad think about transy activities? Hates it. Fucking yeah, my dad's like borderline homophobic too. So like if there's like a gay commercial, he like freaks out. He's like, oh come on, Jesus Christ. Oh, I don't want to see this fucking shit, man. Like he's just always mad. He's always angry. He's always angry. Angry at something, angry at the world. You know, it's the cell phone, it's the TV, but that's just him. That's just it's just him. But we were working at the distillery and one of my buddies who is a tier 1 operator, you know, multiple badass combat operations, but we're all working on building my distillery. And he was like, dude, I don't know how to tell you this, but if your dad opens his mouth again, I'm going to fucking break his face. And I was like, and my dad's not the kind of guy that you can tell to be quiet or to go away without him like losing his shit. So I was like, dude, I know you drove 2 hours to work here today, but like I can't do anything about it. Like you'll have to just leave, because if I tell my dad right now to calm it down, we'll have boards thrown about. Like it'll be a thing. Like it'll be, you know, it'll be a thing. So I actually had to have that dude, like he ended up having to like, I think he went down to the like little local bar and just hung out for the rest of the day. But yeah, that's so it's just. Yeah, so I don't really talk about my dad so much because, you know, and it's just, there's just really no point in to talking about him. You know, he never did anything that I did, so we don't have anything to relate ourselves to. My dad's like a big, I don't know, sports guy, I guess, football, and I hate all that shit. He loves golf. I fucking hate golf. The only thing that we have in common is that we like the Allman Brothers, and he borderline loves the Allman Brothers. So I grew up on the Allman Brothers. My dad had long hair. I think he partially knew some of the Allman Brothers some way or another, or at least he's been to all of their concerts or he chased them around. But I mean, like, was Little Feat, were the Allman Brothers a part of Little Feat? Yeah.
Well, in the same recording company, but yeah.
Yeah, so he named me Eric Edward after Eddie Van Halen and Eric Clapton.
Huh.
Yeah,
okay.
That's where I got my name, Eric Edward. So my dad is just my dad's a huge guitar player, collects guitars. I have no musical ability. You know, and that was another thing growing up is like I always wanted to sing along because my dad's a great singer and a great blues guitarist, and he can really sing the blues really well, and he can sing the Allman Brothers, all their songs really, really well. But I, being a young kid, I can remember sitting in the front seat of the truck, and every time I would just try to start singing, he would be like, "Oh, come on, stop. You're tone deaf. You sound like a broken record." You know, so still to this day, you won't catch me singing songs because it's like, and my wife always is like, dude, sing along. Why don't you sing along? I was like, dude, I don't like, I'm still scarred from my childhood. And so like, even in church, dude, you will never hear me try to sing anything. And I want to, you know, like
who
doesn't want to sing
along?
I actually do karaoke now, but I have to sing like I make fun of myself doing karaoke. Like now I do karaoke like really, really bad karaoke just to like because I want to sing. But yeah, so my dad and I don't have much to aside that we love each other and and that's the important thing. Like I go to their house for Christmas, Thanksgiving. They're coming up here next week to hang out with the kids. Me and my dad are going to a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball game in Pittsburgh in the middle of July, which is going to be fun. So it's not like we hate each other or anything like that. It's just, we don't have a lot to, I'm powered by optimism for sure. Right. I'm always happy and I'm never angry. And so it's just, we're yin and yang, dude. That's just all it is. Here's a great example of it. Did you ever watch that 70s show?
Oh yeah.
I'm Eric and my dad is Rhett. And my mom is 100% the mom.
Kitty.
It's so scary. I can't watch it because like dumbass, all that shit. Like that right there is 100% my childhood. 100% my childhood.
My daddy, I know I'm 40. I'll be 44 soon, but I still like yes sir him. You know what I mean? That's just because of how I was raised.
Yeah.
Growing up, it was real simple country. We would hunt and fish and go to the farm and run the cows and, take this cows from this pasture over here to this one. And first time I really learned what an electric fence was like. But the one that raised me is the man. I didn't meet him. Mom and him met. She was waitressing at a bar. And no.
I'm just kidding.
If you saw my mom, you would say no. I love mom. Don't get me wrong. But so that and this dude came home and big, tall. You would almost say it was like, did you ever watch Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically what walked through the door without the cowboy hat was Rip Wheeler. This dude comes walking in, beard, flannel shirt. Hey, and he would take us off. Wouldn't even hardly talk. Barely my whole childhood, barely talk. And I'm like, is dude going to say anything? And I try to ask him about girls. Yeah, that's what you need to know about girls. Leave them the hell alone. Okay, good. Yeah, that helped a lot because I ended up being a father at 17. But anyway,
that's fucking great. Like, my dad was the same way. Like, we didn't talk about any of that shit. And I remember the first time I met I had a dirt bike and I lived on my motorcycle. So I had a dirt bike my whole childhood. From the time I was 5 till the time I was 18, I had dirt bikes. I always was on a bike. If I wasn't in school, I was on my dirt bike or I was in the water. That was it. You can find me in the ocean, the river, or in the swamp on my motorcycle. And and I could get to all of those places via my dirt bike from my house. So the trail system at where I grew up in the swamps ran for hundreds of miles, where we actually attached a gas tank, an extra gas can to my motorcycle in the field because there's no cell phones back then. And you could easily go forever and get lost and not have gas to get home. So, but I ended up finding a group of my friends in the woods and I pulled my dirt bike over and they were playing Truth or Dare and they dared this girl to kiss me. And I'd never kissed a girl. And so I leaned in for like the little duck-lipped smooch. She went in for like the full makeout, swallowed my face. Just swallowed my face, licking my, and we got done kissing and I got up and I got on my dirt bike and I almost wrecked. I almost hit like 6 trees. I was like just trying to get home. I was so freaked out. I couldn't believe I did it. And I didn't know if I was going to be in trouble. And it wasn't planned. I didn't know it was going to happen. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I got home. This is in the 90s. So like AIDS was like the big to do in school and everything. So I get home and like, it's like awkwardly quiet that evening after dinner. And it's just my dad at the table. And I was like, hey, Dad. He was like, yeah. And I was like, can you get AIDS from kissing a girl? And he was like, did you kiss a girl? And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, yep. And I was like, and bro, I thought I had AIDS until I was in like 10th grade. I was like, because I didn't even know those girls. Like I didn't even know the chick really all that well, you know. And I'm like, man, she probably has AIDS. Like I bet I have fucking AIDS. Like,
can you get a girl pregnant through kissing? Yes.
Yeah, did you kiss her? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't really have this guy, but my mom, on the other hand, was like my best friend. She's still kind of my best friend. But like my mom was, and is like just fucking incredible, dude. Like insane. She's like, I can't wait to write her book, but she was like raised homeless with like 9 brothers and sisters. I mean, she's got like the craziest stories of like running from Child Protective Services and like getting sucked out to sea by big barges. And you know, like all these like near death experiences, getting scalped from these black girls because she went to an all black high school for a second, and my mom had like, she was like the only white girl and she had long straight hair, and I guess like the black girls were really offended by her hair, so they took a razor blade and held her down and cut all of her hair off, and then like my mom would like sneak out of school out of these windows and hide at the Crystal Burgers sometimes, and then like her dad was extremely abusive, and so her brothers and sisters would like pull sticks to see who was going to get their ass beat for the night. Like, I mean, crazy fucking stories, dude. Like,
dude, your mom's gangster as fuck, dude.
Crazy. She would get beat with an ironing cord like constantly, and she's just like, oh man, but she never like really learned how to read, so she's still like, she's hilarious. But I could be like, I would come home and my mom would be like, so Eric, how was school? And I'd be like, oh, I did some blow and had sex with like 3 cheerleaders. She'd be like, Eric, that does not make Jesus happy. You're going to get one of those diseases. You keep doing things like that.
Your mom was not like that for real, was she?
I'm like, you could never make my mom mad.
Oh, shit.
Eric, don't do that. That is ugly. Don't do that. That doesn't make Jesus happy. Like, just always like,
wow.
I mean, I could call her right now and put her on speakerphone. All she would do was just laugh at you guys. She would just, she's the sweetest woman. She's like literally a saint. She's taken care of so many. She's been in more people's wills than you probably know people who've actually died. Like my mom is being left somebody's will like every few months. I'm like, Mom, where did you get that car? And she's like, oh, Miss Thompson left it to me in my will and her will before she passed away. Isn't that sweet? Or like, Mom, where did you get that ring on your finger? Oh, Miss Wilma left it in her will for me. Isn't that so sweet? And I'm like, she's so nice to so many people that they put her in their will.
Wow.
Turns out his mom's secretly
murking people.
Yeah.
She working old ladies for their shit. But she works at like the homeless shelter all the time, like volunteers at the homeless shelter.
All these old people owe her money and they had no way to pay her off. They just left her car.
She's like going after their grandchildren for their debts. Oh, she's like a mafia cartel collector.
You don't know, but your mom's probably a leader
Patsy
of the cartel.
Patsy Thelma, but she's my biggest fan, man. Like I there's nothing I can do that disappoints her. She's just always wants to know what I'm doing. She wants to do it with me all the time. She's like, she get on a train and come up here and watch the kids. She never says no to anything. And my mom and I are really, really close. And she has the same problems with my dad that I do. It's super funny. So like her and I vent to each other.
I'll put, I know this is on recording, so I will put this out there. If you ask your dad if he's actually been to the Allman Brothers Band Museum in Macon, which him being in Savannah, he probably has.
I'm sure.
If not,
take him for Father's Day.
I mean, that's tomorrow. So, anytime you want to come up here, I can give you the grand tour of the whole Macon Allman Brothers hot spots and all the things.
How far is Savannah from Macon?
A couple hours.
Damn.
I mean, it's not far. It's just riding down I-16, which you're probably already aware of. I-16 is just nothing, just this the whole time. There's nothing to look at, right. Just trees and fields. So
I feel like Savannah, like where my parents live in Savannah, they live on the water. They live outside of Savannah, but like you have to go on these like swamp roads, kind of like exactly kind of where I grew up in Florida. They just did it in Savannah. which is a little bit nicer. Now, my brother lived in Vidalia, Georgia for a while, and that was a shithole.
Yep. Vidalia. Yep. Yeah. You don't pronounce the L. It's just Vidalia.
Now, so Nightkin says it sounds like young Sheldon's mom. No, well, my mom was like the least judgmental person on the planet Earth. I mean, I could literally murder somebody. She would go to jail and come see me every day of the week if she could. Like, even if I murdered like infant children or something crazy. Like, I don't know that my mom would ever not love me. She's not judgmental at all. Yeah, she's you'll never meet. I can't really explain my mom because there's nobody else out there that I've ever met that's like my mom, but she's hilarious. She's super funny. She has great stories, and she's never said an ill word about anyone. Like never, like, and everybody loves my mom, and it's like super funny, but she's extremely funny. She loves to play cards. She loves people. She loves a big crowd. She likes to be the entertainer. And I don't think she's ever said a curse word in her life, but she's super funny. Like, we tried to pay her $100 to say shit one time, and she wouldn't do it. Like, all you have to do is say shit, and this $100 bill is yours. She wouldn't do it.
That's free money.
Free money, dude. I was like, shit, fuck, cock. But I'll look right at her and I'll go, shit, fuck, cock, balls, cunt. She'll be like, it's not making Jesus happy.
My mom was the same way.
And that $100 in heaven.
I think that's what it is, dude. Maybe your mom was such a free spirit and all that your dad was kind of like the balance.
Oh yeah,
he had to bring some kind of seriousness to the whole thing. That's how my mom and dad are. Mom's like, she loves everybody, not judgmental. She's friends with all these different people, all kind of walks of life, which I'm kind of that way. I think that picked up that, but at the same time, I'm still cautious, like Daddy is. Like, look at this dumbass, you know?
Yeah.
If I just pick up on somebody's a dumbass, I'll just keep them over there. Yeah, you're over there.
Yeah. And it's cool. It's like I can, I'll tell my mom, like, I can call my mom and tell her about like jujitsu or whatever, and she's like super excited and like asks all the questions. I try to talk to my dad about it, and he's like, "You're a little too old to be doing that adult karate, aren't you?" Like, it's kind of like, yeah, Dad. Anyway, how's things going? It's going good here. I wish the rain would stop. Rains every day. Oh, all right. How's the new house?
How old is he?
I don't know. 50,
He's in his
56. I don't think he's quite. Maybe he's. Yeah. I guess he's like 63, 64, maybe 65. Shit.
So he's about the same age as my mom. All right.
He's about 65, I guess. But yeah, he's a wild guy. I won't play cards, won't play any games. Will not play any games, Cannot watch sports with him. Because you can't talk or anything. You have to just sit there and watch it, But I don't care enough, so it's like I never understand it. Like, I don't know how you can be mad at players that you don't even know.
Exactly.
But my dad will like develop like pure hatred for some of these athletes. It's super funny. So, but no, I definitely should take him to the Allman Brothers Museum. I'm sure he's been. I mean, he was a big Allman Brothers fan. So
I worked at
the Allman Brothers like every day of my life. Sweet Melissa to Ramblin' Man. I mean, all of it.
There's the museum it was the house that they lived in from 68 to 72, and then even Government Mule, you've probably heard of them too. That band was formed at the Big House. That's what they call it, the Big House.
Cool.
But if he's never been, if he's that diehard of a fan, then it's kind of unlikely that he's never been. But if he hasn't, dude, the options there. If you want to get with me and I can take y'all kind of around I used to work there, so I know a little bit about the Big House, and there's hot spots around Macon itself that are Allman Brothers affiliated.
Yeah.
So just let me know. It's open door invitation.
I know I got to get down there. I mean, I go to Savannah quite often, so like, what I need to do is just call you and tell you when I'm coming to Savannah, and then surprise them on a day trip over to the Allman Brothers Museum and meet you over there.
Yep. Down to Rose Hill Cemetery where they're buried at, and they wrote a couple songs down there too. Little Martha was written by Dwayne Allman. There's a Little Martha Ellis statue down there at the Rose Hill, and in memory of Elizabeth Reed. It's hard to say.
I was gonna say in memory of Elizabeth Reed. I was gonna ask if that was there. What about Jessica?
Jessica was written at the big house in the kitchen by Dickie. He named it Jessica. He had that little riff going, and then he saw her get really enthused and started dancing to that whole. So he named it after her.
Nice. Very cool.
One day I'm going to do an Allman Brothers band episode, y'all.
Hell yeah, brother.
But see, with that, and I keep putting it off, I know, but it's so much information. It's so much that
we'll just break it up into parts, man. Like do like Allman Brothers the beginning, Allman Brothers the middle, and then Allman Brothers the end. You know, just do like a 3-part series or a 6-part series, or just do 1 hour each 300.
300-part series.
Episode 300, Allman Brothers. But
Greg Allman hits puberty. Episode 300.
Yeah. Because it's like you can't just with the Allman Brothers band, and it's weird to say, you can't just talk about just the band. It's all the individual, because I know stuff about Barry Oakley, J-Mo, who's the last remaining surviving founding member of the band, because Dickie Betts just passed away. J-Mo still alive, and then Barry Oakley, Dickie Betts, Greg Allman, Butch Trucks. They're all the original 6. And then the changes throughout the years, and then the final, ending in 2014.
Yeah.
13. Something like that.
That's crazy.
But
I follow Alanis Morissette, the Alanis Morissette band, all the way through Jagged Little Pill, and I'm just kidding.
I was waiting for the drop. I was like, so what are you listening to like right now? What you go out to your truck and you hit your radio.
Podcast.
Not a podcast. Not a podcast.
I just listen to so many podcasts. If I'm just putting on music to listen to, it's typically Rob Bailey and the Hustle Standard on Pandora, like the station. Mm-hmm. And I've probably been listening to that station on Pandora for like got to be close to 10 years.
No, just kidding. I think you're right.
What?
He said that you're a bit of a Swiftie.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the 1984 album or 1980, whatever, 87 album. It was really good.
Whatever year that was.
Yeah, I liked or no, was it 1989? I don't know, whatever that album was that she wrote. It was a good one. I could get down on some Swiftie for sure. No, I like Rob Bailey and Hustle Standard, so it's like, I don't know. It's just a whole station, so there's a bunch of different music on there. But like Cypress Hill, I don't know, dude. I get down on it's a weird random mix of music, mostly like upbeat, motivational kind of.
I'm the weird guy where if I'm at work, I just put on an alternative rock station. Matter of fact, the one out of Jacksonville is the one I actually stream through.
Oh yeah, they used to have like a morning show. What was their morning show called? That
it's still there. The morning. No, dear God.
I'm guessing you listen to it every morning, don't you?
I used to listen to it every morning.
Bosco.
No, I listen to John Boy and Billy, and then I swap over to 107.3 out of Jacksonville. I got to listen to John Boy and Billy in the morning. I don't want to hear anything else.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about, was John Boy and whatever. That's who I was talking about. Yeah. Oh, Lex and Terry. It was Lex and Terry in the morning.
Yeah. They're still on there down there in Jacksonville.
That's insane, dude. Those guys were. Yeah, I grew up listening to Lex and Terry for sure, but
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't really listen to a lot of music, man. I'm so like listening to podcasts, trying to keep up with the news, trying to do all these shows, trying to do all the news and stuff, and then I'm on the phone just so much, man. Like I'm probably on the. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. I'm probably on the phone 8 hours a day, and it's always just like super quick conversations with just a million different people, just who's doing what show or what's going on here. Yeah. It's like, and then like, you know, trying to call other people from departments to learn more about these different cases. And then, you know, a lot of time people call me because they want to come on the podcast and they want to tell me their story. And then I listen to it. I'm like, fuck, man, I just wasted like 30 minutes of my day because I'm not doing a 1 hour podcast on this. It's retarded. Happens more than you think.
Oh, I believe it.
Well, see, the Father's Day special came about because I was like, well, I know it's gonna be Father's Day, and usually I have a couple episodes ahead on my list, and I do, but I knew that it was gonna be Father's Day, and I was like, I want to do something, you know, obvious, and obviously my podcast, our podcast is inspired from Failure to Stop. I'll admit it. And there's another one out there that I listen to that's purely automotive and pop culture based. It's Kibbe and Friends Show, which, you know, Rob Kibbe, I don't know. I think he does follow us, but
do you ever listen to like True Crime Garage?
Never heard of it.
Oh,
I might have to write that down.
You'd love it.
But I became
love it. I listen to True Crime Garage quite a bit.
True Crime Garage.
Yeah. I listen to it. I mean, my wife listens to it more than I do. But like she'll like if there's like a really good episode that I need to hear, I'm trying to find True Crime Garage. The hosts are Nick and Captain. Yeah, the Captain. He's pretty funny, the Captain. But yeah, dude, it's a really good true crime podcast. If you they do it out of their garage, and because they're kind of like car junkies too. So
it's funny.
All the things that you would like.
Well, but yeah, that's my inspiration was hanging out with Daddy, building all these 4-wheel drive off-road vehicles. I started out playing football and all that growing up, and realized I didn't like sports. I'm a Georgia fan because I was born in Athens, Georgia. Aside from that, I don't care about sports.
Dude, Georgia Bulldogs are fucking insane. And that's when I did that podcast for Drinking Bros, the Drinking Bros Sports Tailgate Legends. Anytime that Georgia was on the roster, like where we were going, if anybody was playing Georgia or we were going, I was like, dude, let's go, because the Georgia fans rage. I have so much fun with Georgia fans. Yeah, they're probably the most fun of fans in college sports. I don't know anything about their football team, but their fans travel. So it's pretty cool. Some of my best shows were with Georgia fans.
Believe it or not, I've never been to a Georgia game, but I'll follow Georgia. Once Georgia gets knocked out, then I'm done.
Which is pretty often the case.
I mean,
that's gonna start something with somebody out there.
It is. I mean, once, I used to be like diehard, watch the game every Saturday, but I realized, like I did when I was playing football, was I'd rather be out there in the carport working on something, or out there in the driveway working on something, or I realized that my talent for working on cars, turning wrenches, and all that was way stronger than my talents on the football field. So
yeah,
started doing that. And I actually played music and started singing a little bit. And, I'm not going to do that on the podcast, but if we have a get together or something like that, and then I'm drinking a little bit, yeah, I'll probably find a guitar or something like that somewhere and get the crowd rowdy. My inspirations was growing up was watching Hank Jr. and obviously the Allman Brothers Band and all that. So once the drinks get flowing and the party starts kind of getting crazy, then that's where I'm at. I don't know anything about this new music stuff. I don't even know what a Morgan Wallen is, but
I don't know. I don't know who that is either.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned him the other day, and I was like, "Who?"
I thought
I will
Morgan
say
Wallen
this.
was a comedian. If you were to say like, who's Morgan Wallen, I would say, isn't he the comedian?
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought he was a guy who likes to throw stuff off.
He's
Dex.
a new guy that wants to be.
Is he the guy that threw the shit off the fucking place
I
in
think so.
Nashville? Oh, yeah, we
dumbass.
covered him. We covered that story. That's
like
funny.
First he got canceled because he's racist, and now he's pitching a fit because his ex-fiance got married. Oh, cry me a river, dude. Come on.
I'm filthy fucking rich, and my fiance got married.
Yeah. Life is hard. Boo.
Oh no, I have unlimited tail.
Yeah. Oh god,
Oh.
I'm getting pussy in every city across America.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of shit. I'm like, dude, why are you crying? Shut up.
Yeah,
But
weird, man. They're not even real people. Most of them.
they forget.
They're not real people. Well, it's a good thing I'm too old to ever be a celebrity. So I don't really want it.
Shoot, you got best job out there.
I do. I really do. Like I really love it. And like I don't know, my kids got going on, I think is going to be pretty lucrative. I know it's like shitty to say that, and I'm not like trying to like breadwin off of my kids, but man, they're catching fame a lot faster than I ever imagined. So
You can be like Tiger Woods' dad, where you're like, all right, kid, let me get some money.
well, I do now understand like when you manage your kids, like how much work managing it is when you do all these things, like reading their contracts and stuff. So like it's a full-time job. So I get why parents have to get paid, but I would never allow myself to get paid more than my kids get paid, and I would still use whatever I pay myself. I would still use my own money to pay for their like restaurants. I think with like these celebrity parents, they like cut themselves like $100,000, but then make their kid pay for all of the travel and the expenses, everything. It would be like, no, like that money's going to go into an account. And then the $100,000 that I make a year is what I'll still use to pay for you to, do this and that. And I'll still drive my piece of shit cars and live in my, small, tiny house. But like, exactly. I don't think I'll ever be that parent that like gets rich off of their kids. I want my kids to get rich off of their own money. And, when they're older and they want to buy me a house and, when they're old enough to make that decision or they want to buy me a car, they can, but I'm not going to live rich off of them. But it is pretty cool to see their personal growth and then their passion for it. Like it is really fun to wake up and like have your kids tell you what they want to do for the day that involves them making money. Like it's pretty cool. Like
that's the coolest part.
Like, Dad, we're going to make this real today and we're going to do this, that, and then we're going to hit this up. We're going to hit this company up and da-da-da-da-da. And hey, like, bro, they just got, and it's kind of a secret, but I'll tell it on your podcast, but have you ever heard of Hoka?
Yep.
Running shoes? Like they're doing a full episode with them, giving them like this coach. They're doing like this whole video thing, training them to, like they're all going to do a 5K together, sponsored by Hoka. And so they're going to, like the TV company that's doing their Rad Kids Club or their film company or whatever you call it, videography company. I don't know what media company, Bird Up Media. They're doing the Rad Kids Club thing is also doing this one like train up for a 5K, and Hoka sent them shoes and running gear and a personal coach, online coach to like,
that's awesome.
Do that. It's like they get all these crazy opportunities and that's all them. Them networking with photographers and with their other sponsors. And, I think their board sponsor, Yoka Hair. I don't know if Yoka Hair even posts any of their other team riders. I mean, it's like they use our kids' photos and videos. They just love the kids. They share all the kids' posts. And they're so good. And I think it's because my kids are, because I don't know, they're on another level of understanding. Like I don't necessarily coach them or mentor them at all. I just try to keep up with them. Like they're the ones that are like, they have the ideas. Like, Dad, we're going to do this. And I'm like, all right, well, what do we got to do? And they're like, we got to do this shoot at this lake, and it's 2 hours away, and we need an Airbnb, or like we need a hotel. Like, they're the ones that have this shit dialed in. And my wife and I are just trying to keep up with them. And when you got a 9-year-old and 11-year-old, like, and then we get around other 9 and 11-year-olds, and the conversations are about like Pokemon or like, I don't know, anything else. It's just, it puts it in perspective where you're like, wow, holy shit. Like my kid's like 9 going on like 26. It's really wild. And I'm not even pushing him to do it.
Yeah.
So
that reminds me of my son, Connor. He started out, I gave him his first little guitar when he was little. And then it was an acoustic little, you go to Walmart, you buy it, peel it out of a box, and then here you go. But he always kept it in tune, and he would try. And it sounded horrible. Everything does when you first start out. And then he progressed and taught himself. Now, I introduced him into all this music, the Derek Trucks, Dwayne Allman, Kingfish, Blackberry Smoke, Charlie Starr, all these great guitar players, even back further than that, the old Delta Blues stuff. But this kid, he picked up his guitar. He can play acoustic. He can play electric. He can play slide. I mean, and I need to get him to start recording again. But he lives with his mom. But he's gotten more interested in the car stuff as well. So, but I'll tell you this, by far, like a self-taught guitar player, which Dwayne was the same way. Stevie Ray Vaughan was the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Jimi Hendrix was like that. Elvin Bishop, even going further back, Robert Johnson, all them. Well, Robert Johnson. I think like, episode.
Yeah, it's like I grew up playing. Well, I play the fiddle, and like just about every fiddle player. Like if you get fiddle lessons, then you're not a fiddle player. It's like everybody has to be self-taught. But I was terrible. Like I'm not good at playing. I'm not a good fiddler. But
so you're not like the Charlie Daniels of Failure to Stop.
I mean, the Boone Island Boys video is pretty good,
bro. Fucking Boone Island Boys, dude. It's going back. I was in the Boone Island Boys for two concerts. We won the Raleigh's Got Talent show. Actually, it was the Raleigh First Responders Got Talent show.
Oh my god!
But we won. We got first place, dude.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we won like $500, and then like we just donated it to some charity or something. But like, yeah, it was the WRAL Raleigh First Responders Got Talent show at Tiernanog in Raleigh, and it was firefighters and EMTs, like all these people that had talents, and we were the Boone Island Boys, and we played that song. That's Down awesome. The Boondocks or whatever it's called, the Boondocks.
Wow.
And I played the fiddle for it. Pretty funny. And the funny thing is like at the Tiernanog, I don't think my like somehow my fiddle kind of like untuned itself like a little bit. So it's like I'm hitting all the notes, but the fiddle's like, I don't know. I can tell. I don't know if anybody else could tell, but I could definitely tell that the strings had slipped a little bit. But
so if you do another Failure to Stop get together in Still,
we got some big ones coming.
I need to make a road trip. I'll bring my guitar and you just bring your fiddle, and we'll get down.
yeah, we'll try. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I haven't brought that thing out in a while, and I got a family waiting for me. It's Saturday.
Yeah, well, I was gonna talk to you about.
I got a grill. My wife's asking if I can grill out by the pool. Nice. I got to go get charcoal. So
I think with that we'll wrap up.
I had a great time though. Thank you for having me on. Happy Father's Day to you guys for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for stopping in.
Thanks, guys.
I'm grateful for you. You keep doing your thing, brother. And we'll have you on again.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a good Saturday, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to mosey on out of here and go get some charcoal and then go sit by the pool for a couple hours and then head over to the distillery and work there for a couple hours. So
all right. With that,
let me do a little closing real quick. Everybody out there, Happy Father's Day to the moms who are doing dual jobs. Happy Father's Day as well. We love y'all. We love everybody, what y'all doing. Everybody stay safe this week. I know it's getting hotter out there. Stay hydrated. That's all I got. Hey, man, love y'all.
You guys.
I love y'all. See y'all. The road goes on forever. Peace.
Thanks for riding with us on the Forever Road podcast with Bosco. Hey, you can find and follow us at Instagram and Facebook, or just drop us a line or a question anytime at foreverroadpodcast@gmail.com. See you next time on the Forever Road podcast.